All right, so everyone's freaking out in 2023 about the real estate market. But I mean, I guess it's kind of reasonable. Interest rates are crazy, prices are fluctuating, but demand seems to be rising? I don't know, I thought we should talk to someone who is boots on the ground in all of this. So we're gonna talk to Omar Lopez, who is a loan officer here in Colorado and in Texas, who helps people get into homes every day. Omar, welcome back, our favorite loan officer.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Yes, of course. I think you are the most reoccurring guest we've had. Do you feel honored?
I do. I feel at home, to be quite honest with you. So.
Good. Okay, so let's get to business. Boots on the ground, the market's crazy. What's going on? What are you seeing?
The market is crazy. Boots on the ground, the beginning of the year, right? We're about almost 4 months in. I'm encouraged. Because typically in this business, January, February, the beginning of the year, it's usually a little bit slower. I've been the busiest in these couple months. Wow. So I'm encouraged because of two things. Not only because I've been busy, but because houses are selling so much faster. Believe it or not, my clients who have contingencies on a home to sell, when they're purchasing a new build, their house is selling within 2 weeks versus last year it was about 2 months, to be quite honest with you. So I'm more encouraged by that fact because now we're moving stuff faster. I'm seeing that the market is shifting, and this is something we kind of all predicted, but we don't know exactly what's to come, but it's definitely headed the right direction.
So that's wild. Why do you think that's happening?
Well, I think people are beginning to realize that this is the new norm. Something about us in America, I would say, and I'm gonna talk specifically myself, we always focus on what we don't have. For about a year, maybe a little bit more, we were focusing on rates, right? But I think a lot of Americans now are seeing that, hey, the rates are the new norm, which they're normal and they're healthy in my opinion. But they're realizing that the purchase prices that so many of the builders are offering are super aggressive, right? So they're taking advantage of those purchase prices. The agents, our agent partners are also realizing, hey, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Client, you're not gonna get such a great deal if you don't act now, right? So I think a lot of educating did help. And people are just taking advantage of it. So it's working out great.
That's really interesting. So people who are on the fence, let's say people I hear all the time, I'm just waiting for the market to drop or, everything to crash. What do you say to them?
Well, I would say, that sounds like a young Omar when I would say, I'm gonna wait till Monday to go on a diet, which Monday never came. I would say, absolutely not. And obviously this is my opinion, and I'm only communicating to what I've seen in the past 2 years, right? No, you can't afford to wait. Because think about this, as you're waiting, you're paying to live somewhere, right? And that's with the assumption of, hey, the market's gonna crash or it's going to get better. But we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing a lot of talk of, maybe financing being extended to 40 years. But what is that gonna demand? That's gonna communicate to the builders, hey, we no longer have to be aggressive with our incentives because now let's assume that we do go to 40 years, right? Now it's more affordable. So why would a builder or any seller feel that, hey, I have to be aggressive with my purchase price or I have to be aggressive with the incentive when the payments are now quote unquote more affordable, right? If that does happen, great, but you want to take advantage of the purchase price now, right? I think we all know that one thing that stays the same is the amount that you paid for that home. The interest rate does not and will not stay the same.
Right. All right, now talk to me about what's happening with interest rates. What is the truth behind it all? What's really happening?
Well, I'll make this deal with you. We'll talk about what interest rates are doing if you promise to talk about what the purchase prices are doing as well, right? Because I just don't want to focus on the negative, if that's okay with you. What are interest rates doing? interest rates are still the same. It's an emotional roller coaster, but we don't see anything moving more than about a quarter of a point. So it's up and down. Interest rates, of course, are still on the higher end compared to what they were 2 years ago, right? In this business, we would say that they're healthy. So again, rates are a little bit higher, but they're still definitely affordable. And at the same time, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA and VA are coming up with different ideas on how to make it more affordable. And one of those being, if your debt to income ratios are higher than 40%, or if you do have challenging credit, they're allowing for the rates to be a little bit more gracious to make it affordable for many, many families. So everyone's getting creative. I think it's important to find a lender that gets creative alongside, with the buyer, to make sure that they just don't give them a suit that's a one size fits all, but rather tailors the loan, or I would say the suit, to whatever that family might need. We as lenders have to take some sort of responsibility. How can I make this fit your needs, right? And there's always a way. And one thing we also have to remember is that the builders are doing the same thing. I specifically View Homes, they get together with the client along with the loan officer and say, okay, what do we need to, Omar, what do we need to do to get them at this payment? And the builder is always willing to contribute to a way to get creative and get to the end goal. The end goal being set up the client for success and get them into the home.
I know you don't have a crystal ball.
I don't.
But if you were to give us a prediction for the next 3 to 6 months, what would that look like?
I would say the market is going to stay hot. I personally know there's been some of my clients that have been getting multiple bids, right? People are starting to bid for the same house, and they're losing homes. I mean, people are now have to overbid again, not as aggressive as they used to. But I think that if you have a home to sell, it's gonna sell within a week, maybe 2. And at the same time, people are buying. So what does that mean? If people are buying, that means that the market's shifting. There's not gonna be as many homes, which means that, hey, the prices will adjust accordingly. I think the builder won't offer these aggressive incentives for much longer. Me personally, I think by the end of the year, you will not see these aggressive incentives, nor these aggressive purchase prices.
Great. Well, all of this has been so interesting. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today,
Absolutely.
Omar. I hope this information helps you. And if you have any questions for Omar, is
Yeah.
there a number people can reach you at?
Absolutely. The number's right here. Feel free to call me directly. Let's chat, see how we can help you, how we could contribute to your guys' goals, and stay encouraged.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Omar, and
got
we
it.
will definitely see you on the next one.
Alrighty, appreciate you.